So Democrats are still furious over the Virginia Supreme Court blocking their congressional map.
This isn't about winning the House. We're going to win back the House anyway. This is about reversing some of the progress we made in the civil rights movement.
I never thought I would see the day that the United States Supreme Court would be so openly partisan with what it's been doing. I think that Justice Roberts is going to take his place alongside some other infamous justices like Taney, who gave us the Dred Scott decision.
Well, remember, there's a corrupt shadow hanging over the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court desperately needs reform. It is a corrupt court.
So Virginia Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries reportedly coming up with a radical plan to get what they want. Quote, the most dramatic idea they discussed, which would involve an unusual gambit to replace the entire state Supreme Court with a goal of reinstating their gerrymandered map. One key to the plan would be having Democrats in Richmond lower the mandatory retirement age for state Supreme Court justices. Unbelievable. Here to react, Fox News contributor and former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. Mr. Speaker, they overplayed their hands, and now you're seeing it play out right now. They're losing right now. Republicans may gain 10-plus seats, I'm sorry.
Well, look, we haven't seen this kind of nationwide power struggle since Thomas Jefferson destroyed the Federalist Party. Between 1796 and 1812, the Democratic Republicans, as they were called, they're now the Democratic Party, the longest existing political party in the world. Jefferson went after literally destroying the Federalists. The word gerrymander comes from the last stage of that fight when Eldridge Gerry drew a map in Massachusetts to try to preserve the Federalists. And somebody said, boy, that district looks like a salamander. And somebody else said, oh, no, that's a gerrymander. Wow. That's where the word comes from. So that's the only other time in American history that we've seen the mobilization of everything. I mean, California's involved. Democrats didn't mind when California wiped out Republican seats. They loved Virginia wiping out Republican seats. All of a sudden, the institutional tide has turned. And this is why Trump is such a historic figure. He is the first person to really take the establishment head on and to grind at them and grind at them and grind at them. And the result is they're breaking apart. They're breaking apart in the universities. They're breaking apart in terms of the maps. The key question the court had to answer, which has been coming now for 30 years, is can you, in fact, use race as a factor? Well, it's very clear that the establishment used race in order to create districts that African Americans would win in. And they used race for admission to Harvard, et cetera. All of that is gradually receding, and people are saying, wait a second, you've got to compete. Now, we have African Americans who win in white districts. So it's not, we're not in the 1940s. Right. We don't have segregation, but we also don't have a bias. For example, a bias in favor of blacks is inherently a bias in favor of Asians and Latinos. Well,
that's what the court said when it came down to the decision when it came to these universities as well, is that it's not just even a matter of blacks or Hispanics. You can't use race as a coordinating principle for anything.
Exactly. And so now that tide is gradually coming this way. And it's very ironic that Justice Thomas, who is, of course, African-American, is now the most influential single person on the court.
Well, he's talked about it in his writings for decades now. The court has just finally given him the opportunity to give those legal opinions. We only got about a minute left, but I'm curious, when it comes to these maps, who ends up winning it in your view?
Well, I think if Trump can get gasoline under control, the Republicans will have a historic victory this fall of huge proportions. Not just because of the maps, but because the Democrats, like we saw AOC earlier, Democrats are now crazy.
Right.
And so this is a race between weak, woke, and crazy Democrats. And the Republicans, even though the Republicans may not be perfect, they're not nuts. And so I think you could see this fall, both in the House and Senate, a truly historic election.
And that wouldn't have not, I guess when you look at it, when a president is there, he normally loses, and his party is in control of Congress, they normally lose all the time. When is the last time this would have happened?
Well, the last big example was Franklin Roosevelt in '34. We saw Bush in 2002 gained a few seats, but Roosevelt had a realigning election. The Republicans were in the wrong place. The country repudiated them. The Jeffersonians just literally kept grinding. I mean, they had, if you go back to a lot of books on this, they had an all-out war against the Federalists. Well, if you look what's happened after 90 years of the Roosevelt majority dominating, you finally have a move, not just Trump personally, but a movement which is grinding down. And this is why Clarence Thomas is so important. He is part of a historic movement. And you see that in the media, you see that in talk radio. I mean, when you look at who are the players that are breaking through, they're not the left. Mm-hmm. And the result is, you know, every time AOC goes on, for example, Steyer in California, running for governor, proposed we bring back everybody who ICE has deported.
It's unbelievable.
Well, yeah, that's why I tell people they're not liberals, they're crazy. Because that is totally nutty.
Well, that's what the president said during his State of the Union.
That's right.
He wouldn't even stand for the veterans. Newt, it's good to see you, Mr.
It's always great to be here.
All right.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.